All right, well, let's talk about your landlord-tenant case. Ms. Carter, I'm sorry, we're about 23 minutes behind, but all things considered, could be worse. This is file number 251369LT. It's entitled Carrie Sears versus Danette Carter and all others at 113 Rose Court, Sturgis. This is a termination of tenancy action under the emergency provision. There is apparently no lease, or if there is a lease, I don't have a copy of it. Mr. Rognus alleges damaged health hazard to the property. This property was subject to a search warrant and resulted in criminal charges against this defendant, Danette Carter, and several others, including the allegation that they were maintaining it as a drug house. So the landlord wants them to move out. Now, Ms. Carter, as a defendant in such a case, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to hire an attorney. If you cannot pay for one, the legal aid attorney may be available to help you. Meg Bauer is here, but she's presently talking to another client. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell me at this first court appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days, explaining your right to the jury trial, and be prepared to pay the $50 jury demand unless the judge waives it for your inability to pay. If both parties are interested in mediation, the court can help set that up. There may be a reason to settle this with a conditional order of dismissal, meaning if both parties can agree, say on a move-out date or something, they could file a consent order of conditional dismissal that would take care of this matter. Your criminal case is file 25996FY. That charges delivery of methamphetamine and maintaining a drug house. That was in front of Judge Pattison. I think I did your initial arraignment. That matter is bound over to the circuit court on last week, June 16th, or a couple weeks ago. So, Mr. Rognus, your position is you wish the defendant to move?
Yes, Your Honor. By way of background, her co-defendant, Christopher Sears, is Carrie Sears' son. Christopher has now deeded the property back to his father, and we're taking heat from the City of Sturgis Police Department about all the drug activity that's taking place over there. Definitely want the property back so we can go in and rectify the circumstance. Substantial amount of rehab is going to need to take place. I don't know if you read all the police report, but it is in bad shape.
No, it's not.
And there is no lease. I mean, Ms. Carter was there just under the auspices of Christopher Sears, who nobody bailed out of jail because his dad's sick and tired of his meth habit.
I do have receipts of me paying rent, though.
All right, well, Miss Carter, what's your position?
Right now, I moved in with Chris, because he said he needed help paying his rent, so I moved in with him, back in November of last year when he lived in Village Manor, and I have been paying him $500 a month every month since then. I do have some. I do have some receipts, and right now, and the reason I was glad that he did let me move in, which was a blessing, is because I was homeless at the time, and when I leave here, I will be homeless again.
Well, you have no lease. The person that owns the house isn't getting any of the money. I don't suspect you're paying $500 a month to Christopher Sears when he's in jail. So you're what's known as a tenant at sufferance.
I paid rent last week, Your Honor, and
Say
I
that
get
again.
paid. I paid Chris Sears $500 last month, and I'm on disability, so my next check isn't until the 3rd of this month.
All right, well, don't pay anybody anything. Chris Sears doesn't own this house. Carrie Sears owns it. And so I wouldn't pay Chris Sears 5 cents. I think he's in jail.
Correct.
Yes.
So you're there with no lease. The search warrant was very graphic. They contend that you're the one that's selling the drugs out of there, known as Mama D. Your matter's bound over to circuit court, and police are concerned about this place, and the man that owns the house wants you to move. Have you made any provision to try to move?
Right now I have been looking for a place to stay. However, I have had no luck. I do have a friend that is going to take me to House Inc. or whatever. They help with helping you find an apartment and stuff like that. And that's what I was going to be going to do tomorrow.
Neighborhoods Inc.
Yes, I couldn't remember which one it was. They help you with an apartment or and things like
Help
that.
pay the rent. Now, this isn't about paying the rent. Now, they filed this as a
Unlawful drug activity case.
yes.
Well,
Is anybody else in the house?
No, it's just me and my cat. I have a friend here and there that'll come by and say hi, hang out for an hour or two, and then leave. I cleaned up the house pretty much. I cleaned up the house, and the only mess that is really is the time that was already there before I got arrested. But I've cleaned up the house, all the basement, the bedroom, the living room, kitchen, and I've also cleaned up the garage. And also, I'd like to say, actually, I do have a receipt from Terry Sears. When I paid rent, I gave the money to him. That was back in February, and I have that receipt with his name on it.
Well, you don't have a lease.
I understand that.
Override drug activity either.
Yes.
I mean, meth is a serious problem. That will make this property into a toxic hazard for years on into the future.
It isn't as bad as it was, but in the early days of meth houses, they were like toxic waste sites, very difficult to clean up. They did find some quantities of methamphetamine, lots of evidence of methamphetamine use, and pipes and syringes and paraphernalia all over the place. But I think, Andrew, the safest thing to do is to continue this to next Monday.
And Your Honor, if I may say something, right now I'm in the process of trying to find someone with a truck to where I can get the trash that's that's outside underneath the carport, which I've covered up with a tarp, so it's not as such an eyesore. But I have been trying to look for someone with a truck so I could get the trash.
If I was you, Miss Carter, I would just right now worry about getting your stuff out of there, because they have the legal standing to move you out of there. You don't have a lease. You got charged with a crime while in this property. it's bound over to circuit court. You are presumed to be not guilty until found otherwise. But I'm gonna continue this to 2:30, July 7th.
The July 7th at 2:30.
Yes, now let me repeat. They want you to move, and if they get what they ask for, you get 10 days from that day to vacate, or you're subject to being evicted. So they could do an immediate eviction where I could remove you right now, but I'm gonna take you at your word that you have done some cleanup. But you have no lease.
Yes,
Carrie is now the owner. You're gonna have to vacate regardless of a hazardous site or not. The police want the house cleaned out. Maybe it has been. There's several people that were living there are gone. But if they get what they asked for, you would have until July 17th to vacate, or the sheriff could come put your stuff out on the street.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Don't pay anybody any money. Don't pay Christopher any money. Don't pay Carrie any money. Certainly don't pay Christopher any money. All right, we'll address this further next Monday at 2:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, you're free to go. I'll remove you.
All right, thank you.
Andrew, I got a little update on the golf outing from Debbie Davis and from Meg. It sounds like the rain caught up with you guys before you got off the course.
Yeah, well, some golfers are made out of sugar.
Well,
Some of us
I
are
don't-
just so
That's
sweet.
what Debbie said. She wasn't so much worried about the rain. It was the lightning that caused concern. So anyway, I was back here at the courthouse by the time you guys were getting drenched. So it was a nice event and thank you for doing it. All right, I guess I'll see you guys again maybe on Friday.
Okay, take her easy. We'll see you next. Bye-bye.
Right. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. All right, that finishes our landlord tenant docket. In a few minutes, we have some small claims cases, and in the meantime, I'm gonna talk to our visitors a little bit.